Hello, Brian the Fanboy here, and today I am going to talk about the Fantastic Four. Now, how I found out about the Fantastic Four? There, I have a few early memories of how that happened. Of course, I don't know which one came first, but anyway, one memory is that when this a cousin of mine had this a few comic books back when we were kids, and one of the comic books he had a story about the Fantastic Four. Now, another memory is that I think I found an episode of the Fantastic Four one morning. Of course, at the time I didn't really know what I was watching. And then another another memory is that you see, when me and my sister were kids, my mother would drive us to the store called Star Market Plus. I don't know if it's still around, but if it is, well, just happen to know they still do. But when back when me and my sister were kids, my mother would show this card, and me and my sister would get a free treat or a free object. And one of the objects I remember getting was this metallic case, and it would have images of the Fantastic Four. Of course, at the time I didn't know who they were, but yes. Well, anyway, years later, I happened to found reruns of all Fantastic Four cartoons on UBN, and I think it was on. Well, I don't know if it was Sunday morning or weekday mornings in the summer, but either way, I didn't learn more about them. And only that, but they also appeared in this uh, story arc of Spider-Man the animated series called Secret Wars, which is based on the Marvel Comics event of the 90s. So I think it was in the 90s, but anyway, then eventually I started to learn about more about the Fantastic Four, and one of the things I learned was their origins, and it was that they were a group of people who went into space and they got hit by with cosmic rays, and when they came back to Earth, they now have superpowers. With Reed Richards becoming Mr. Fantastic and having the power of super stretching, Susan Storm later became Susan Richards when Reed married her, and she became the Invisible Woman. Well, Invisible Girl at first, but later Invisible Woman, and she has the power of invisibility. Then we got Johnny Storm, the younger brother of Sue, and he became the Human Torch, who has the powers, who has fire powers. And then we got Ben Grimm, who became the Thing, and his power is super strength, but that's because he became an orange rock monster. Of course, unlike the other team members, the Thing was the only member who could not go back and forth from human to his superhero form, just like the others. I mean, because the others can pass around like ordinary people since they can turn the powers on and off. But the Thing, he stays away, which kind of tragic because he can not go around with people staring at him just because of his appearance. But even though he doesn't look human, eventually he became the most popular member of the team, and people liked him both in the fictional world and in the real world. You know, and only yeah. Now, and then eventually I sort of watched the Fantastic Four movies from Fox. And I talk about the one from 2005 and the sequel. And I have them right here. yeah, on DVD. Yes, here we have the Fantastic Four extended cut, the one from original 2005, and it has both the theatrical and the extended versions. And here are the discs and this stuff. And I also have the sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer. And here's the cover, front and back. And yeah, here's the inside. Yes, they're kind of like the case, and here we have the disc. I think this one is, let's see. Oh yes, both are either widescreen and yeah, a full screen. And then we have the special features. Oh, shortly after the 2005 Fantastic movie, yeah, Fantastic Four movie was released, I did see the series Fantastic Four World's Greatest Heroes, and it was I think it was the fourth Fantastic Four cartoon. And speaking about Fantastic Four cartoons, here's something interesting that I learned. You see, there was one Fantastic Four cartoon for the 70s, and it was the only one where Johnny Storm, where the Human Torch was not a member of the team. You see, there was this rumor going on that the reason this happened was that well, the people who made it were afraid that kids might light themselves on fire just to impersonate the Human Torch. But I don't think kids are dumb enough to do that. I mean, but anyway, of course, I find out that the real reason is was because, well, the film rights to the Human Torch has already been licensed, but of course, Sony was done with it, so any Fantastic Four project that came out first, the Human Torch already has not become a member of that. And also, when the two Fantastic Four movies I mentioned were going around, were being released in theaters, well, reruns of all Fantastic Four cartoons would air on ABC Family, and this was before it became Freeform. And oh, another thing interesting is that I also learned that there was a Fantastic Four movie made in the 90s, and I have it right here. So the Fantastic Four movie from the 90s, and here we go, the desk as well. Now, it says here the unreleased movie, and not only that, but it's also a bootleg. You see, the reason I bought a bootleg copy was that, well, the Fantastic movie from the 90s was supposed to be released in theaters, but once Fox got the rights to the Fantastic Four movies, then the one the original was never shown. I mean, it was never released in theaters, and well, many people think that the original Fantastic Four movie was the one from 2005. No, it wasn't. It was the one from 1990. But of course, and then eventually found I did see the Fantastic Four movie from 2012, was it? Or I'll show you. It was this movie. and it was, yeah, the river one. This is it, and I did see it in theaters. Of course, it wasn't as great as the one for 2005. And yeah, I know so many people have negative stuff for 2005 as a movie, but in my opinion, it was a fun movie. Maybe it wasn't the greatest, but at least it was fun. And about the movie from 1990, well, here's an ironic thing, the ironic part. It was the that was the only Fantastic Four movie that was true to its source material, at least closest, because one of the things they did is that the origin, how they got her powers, yeah, all the origins is just like in the comic books. With you see in the comic books, Reed and Ben met uh, Sue and Storm back when Reed and Ben were college students, and they were I think they were paying rent at the home where to stay at that house where Sue and Johnny were growing up in. And then years later, when all four art, became adults, they would yeah, that's when they reunited. Of course, when Reed first met Sue, she was 12 years old. But once she became an adult, then started Reed and Sue finally started to have romance, and of course, they eventually got married. Oh, and here's the thing: in the wedding issue of the Fantastic Four, Stanley and Jack Kirby made a cameo, although um, they didn't. Well, their faces didn't appear, but we only found out about it at the end. When the first names are mentioned. And Stan Lee himself, he did appear in the Rise of the Silver movie during the wedding scene, which was a nod to his cameo in the comic book. Of course, Jack Kirby couldn't attend because he died years before that. So now, as for video games, I happen to have two of them. Here I have the Fantastic Four video game, which is based on the 2005 movie, and I did beat this one just like how I beat in the two Hulk video games I showed in my Hulk video. Here's the manual. And here's the Rise of the Silver Surfer video game, which was based on the movie of the same name. Here's the manual. Of course, I didn't beat this one because I kept losing a level and somehow I didn't save. Or maybe, but next time I play this game, I'll try to see if there's a way I can save while. Anyway, yeah. And if you like to watch any Fantastic Four movies or TV shows, most of them are on Disney Plus. They're not being paid by Marvel or DC to talk about the Fantastic Four. I mean, yes, sharing what I think about the characters. Of course, I would recommend watching the old stuff because with the way that a lot of studios are, with the direction a lot of studios are going these days, I think most people would rather watch the old stuff than what the new stuff. But yeah, and also please subscribe to my channel because it will help me a lot. And share this video on social media like Facebook or Twitter or whatever. So that's it, and I'll see you next.